The weekly Industry Angel podcast hears from business leaders and entrepreneurs who share their stories and that all-important light bulb moment. This can inspire us all and maybe scratch that itch and kickstart that idea that keeps you awake at night. Welcome to episode 19 of the Industry Angel. Thanks for all your guest suggestions lately. It's great to hear what topics you'd like to see covered. I've got the wheels in motion with a few guests to cover those off, and hopefully we can get those episodes in the can for you. We've got over 10 hours now of free content, and it's on many different topics, as you know. I've had good feedback that you're enjoying the diverse topics and there's value in each one. Every guest, is my new favourite episode. I come off the call and I'm thinking, I love them, really get it. And, you guys do too as well, because the show's grown weekly. And actually because of that, I've went and been shortlisted for a new Media Europe Award in the 2016 Influencer category. Now, I'm alongside huge players such as Gary Vaynerchuk, Tim Ferriss. Gary V has 1.3 million Twitter followers, so I will smash that, eh? The votes are via Twitter, and you can vote daily, but I think it ends on the 10th of June, so you might not be able to get a chance. But thanks to listeners and past guests for getting involved up to now. Being shortlisted is thanks to you guys, so thanks for your support. In terms of support, I know I'm going to keep badgering you, but you've got to leave us an iTunes review. I need you to head over to industryangel.com. There's instructions on the blog on how to do so. Basically, we want the show to grow, and reviews attract more listeners. You know yourself, if you're skimming through and you see lots of reviews on a certain thing, you'll click and you'll see what it's all about. So, and, speakers as well want to see those stats. So if we want to attract, the big rock star speakers, we're going to have some reviews because they are divas, okay? And also spread the word, engage with us on social media. If you haven't contacted me now, up to yet, go for it. I want to know your thoughts. Now, I've done that intro without mentioning Brexit, Trump, or Mike Ashley's pretty lame business style. How cool is that? On we go. Today we have author, speaker, and marketing coach, Stephanie Mulac. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really good, but listen, you're speaking to us down there in the sunshine state of Florida, but at the moment you guys have some pretty bad rainstorms. Are you affected by that?
So far it hasn't been too bad. We have had our share of rain, but other than that, we've been spared.
Oh, that's good news. That's good news. I've seen some photographs online actually, and there's a lot of flooding in.
Yes, quite a bit on the other coast, especially. We're kind of inland, so we're hanging out with Mickey and all the fine folks at Disney.
Do you know we actually had that Disney cruise ship coming down the Tyne yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, massive. Loads of big crowds, everyone with Disney toys and jumpers and T-shirts. Yeah, it's a big deal, eh?
Oh, yes. We have been on our fair share of Disney cruises, including one from the East Coast to the West Coast through the Panama Canal. It is a spectacular opportunity.
Oh, that sounds amazing. So the reason Stephanie asked if you were affected, because you've kind of embraced the free lifestyle, and you guys, you and your family travel and live full time in a motorhome. Is that right?
Yes. We live in a 40-foot luxury RV that I have set up and situated with an office and a study area for my daughters who are homeschooled. We've been on the road for almost 9 years now. They've grown up on the road and gotten their education in 45 states throughout the United States. And these days, the RV has a green screen room and recording studio and everything else. So we take it with us wherever we go.
Wow, you're doing it in style.
Absolutely.
So 45 states, not many to tick off then.
Not too many.
Are you going to go for it?
Probably over time.
So was that a kind of definite decision? Did you take practical steps in order to, become the coach you are today on the road?
It wasn't. When we first started, I kept the house, and the idea is in my head, I thought that we would be out for about 2 or 3 months at a time in the RV. It was a definite decision to be in the RV, to be able to make ourselves accessible to the people that I was coaching, places I was speaking, workshops I was doing, and that type of thing. But kind of in my head, I saw it as being a 2 or 3 month stint, and then would go back and hang out maybe for a couple of weeks or a month or so at home and then do it again. And we took off, and 2 years later, we had never returned to the house. And
Wow.
decided maybe at that point it was time to sell it because we had pretty much adopted this as our lifestyle of choice.
So, in terms of enjoying your role, and in terms of 1 to 10, I think I know the answer on this one. You've got that work-life balance sorted, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It is a dream life, and but very specifically carved out by design to be able to create a business that is in line with my passion and purpose and the people that I want to serve and make a difference in their life. And I've set the business up to allow me to do that while still giving me an opportunity to enjoy the journey.
Wow, well, that's a great lead in because you got in touch with me, and I think you're really keen to listen to engage with our listeners around that topic. In terms of entrepreneurship and marketing, and how the trend is now to do everything yourself and be quite all encompassing. And I think you're worried about clients burning out, yeah.
Well, truly, because, here's the thing with entrepreneurs is, somewhere along the line, there's been this notion that has been adopted that an entrepreneur has to do it all. And, that they have to learn how to be a marketer, an expert marketer online in order to market online. And I take real exception to that because I've never had a client come to me. I work primarily with heart centered entrepreneurs, people who are in all types of, service businesses, helping others, making a difference in the lives of others. Many of the people that I work with um, are healers and things like that. And I've never had somebody come to me and say, "Oh my God, I love massage therapy. That is my life. That's what I do for a living. But I have this burning desire to have a second career as a marketer, and I need you to teach me everything there is to know about marketing." They're just, they don't care about that. But as entrepreneurs, they're led to believe that in order to market online, in order to have an online business or do anything, any combination of online and offline, that they also have to undergo a radical transformation and learn everything that there is to do with marketing. And you wouldn't see this in any other industry. You wouldn't, if you want to get on a plane and fly from point A to point B, somebody doesn't look at you and tell you that you have to know how to navigate the plane in order to do it. And there's just so many other examples that you can look at around you. But the reality is that in this industry, entrepreneurs have gotten more and more, indoctrinated with the fact that they have to learn how to design web pages. They have to learn how to set up a squeeze page. They have to program their autoresponders. They have to do all of these things. And it shouldn't be anything further from the truth. And that's really what I do with my clients is I work with them on coming up with done for you and turnkey packages that take care of all of that for them so that they can keep doing what they do best. That's what they're in this world to do, is what they do best. Just like what I do with my life and the lifestyle business that I've created is I've set it up so that I can do what I do best.
And where do you think that pressure's coming from, Stephanie? Is it some of the real big guys out there, on Twitter and Snapchat and the Gary Vaynerchuks of the world? Do you think it's listening to these sort of sound bites from them and thinking, I've got to do this, I've got to take it on board?
Well, I think where the problem is that everybody has a product to sell. So if I have a blogging product or I have a traffic product or I have a webinar platform or if I have an autoresponder service or any of these types of things, then I need, in order to sell that, to convince somebody that they have to learn to use it. And to convince somebody that they have to learn to use it is making them feel that that's a part of the entrepreneurial process. Whereas the reality is that, I mean, I know all the big guys. I know all of these people. I hang out with them. We sit around, we're in masterminds together. And most of them don't know how to program their way out of a paper bag. They're lucky, literally, they will admit it. I mean,
Yeah.
they freely admit that they have teams that do this for them, but at the same time, when it comes time to actually sell someone a product, the only way to convince the person of the merits of that product in their minds is that they feel that they have to get the person to actually embrace using it. Whereas, there's nothing wrong with purchasing the products and the services. It's structuring the business in such a way that you're not the one hands on using them. And that's really where the difference comes in.
I totally agree, and I think outsourcing is good, but a lot of these companies, Stephanie, they'll be bootstrapping. They'll be really keeping it tight. As an entrepreneur, how do you afford to do that?
Well, the thing is that it's never been less expensive than it is now in our industry to be able to do that. And there's all types of, even for somebody who just literally doesn't have, very much to invest in their business at all. You can look at doing trade. You can look at, what your skills are and trade your skills for somebody else's skills and do cooperative ventures and things like that. But the reality is and this is something else that somewhere along the line, everybody talks about how easy it is to make hundreds of thousands if not millions of dollars online, but they really soft pedal the fact that it's still a business. And nowhere in the history of time has there ever been an edict that has come down that says you no longer need to make an investment in order to create a business. That because the internet is so easy to get started and it's all of those things and it's very inexpensive compared to creating a brick and mortar and setting something up where, in years past, if you had a business idea, it had to, pretty much be accompanied by at least a $50,000 investment, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to start up a brick and mortar and get into a lease with a building and inventory and fixtures and employees and all of those types of things. We no longer have that when we're talking about entrepreneurs in the internet. But by the same token, it doesn't mean you can start a business with nothing. You do have to have capital to invest. You do have to have, and it's not $50,000. It's in most instances not even, ten or $20,000. But I do talk to a lot of people that will come to me and say, "Well, in 6 months, I want to be making $10,000 a month," and I'm like, "Okay, good, that's achievable." And what type of budget do you have to invest in making that happen? Oh, well, I have no money.
Okay. Yeah.
And, there's a myth there. There's a problem with that mentality because this still is a business and, it is going to require an investment, and I spoke with somebody one time that said they didn't have $20 to invest monthly in an autoresponder to build their list. There's a definite mindset shift that needs to happen there, that we do need to make an investment, and not only an investment of money, but an investment of time and of mindset, and to run it like a business and to run it seriously. And, I have a lot of people that will look at me and go, "Oh my God, the lifestyle that you have is so enviable." And, boy, I would give anything to do what you do. And my answer is always that it's absolutely doable, it's achievable. Not even just the traveling that I do. I mean, everybody has their own dream. Everybody has that thing that will do it for them as far as what they envision of the life of their dreams, and it's very possible to do. But I haven't had the life that I've had without putting an investment in, without having coaches, without um, doing all types of investments in marketing and things like that. And I also haven't done it without a lot of hard work put into it. But I've put in the hard work up front to be able to have the lifestyle on the back end. And the hard work in the beginning was every bit worthwhile to be able to live the life of our dreams that I do with my daughters.
Sure. I'm just thinking there of some of the solopreneurs that, you might come across and I certainly come across in my role. And especially the heart-centered ones, as you termed it, the ones that might be, I don't know, masseurs or whatever. How do you get them to come around to this way of thinking, though? Because that's not going to be their interest, as you say.
Well, I think it's a matter of, having these conversations with people and taking a look at what their goals are and working the equation backwards. And, being able to show them that, for, when they're working with a coach and they're working with somebody who's been there and can alleviate a lot of the traps and the pitfalls that, they'll make unwise investments, or they'll, start spinning their wheels doing things that aren't going to give them a return on their investment. It really all starts with working with somebody who has gone before you and is doing what it is that you want to do and can help you model that business and doing it with you and alongside of you. And that's where coaching and mentoring comes in, and the importance of being able to find somebody that you resonate with who's going to walk that path with you and help you get from where you are to where you want to be.
Sure. So I totally agree when you mentioned about budgets there. People can expect to start a job, a project, a business on very little. And you do have to have a bit of a runway ahead of you. You're not going to start make money straight away, and you do have to put that investment in. So how do you get that across? Because a lot of people say, right, I'm going to start a business, and you try to say, well, look, you're going to need X amount of dollars, X amount of pounds. If they say no, I don't. How do you set that? How do you set the expectations on that?
Well, I think the thing is that you have to take a look at what some of these elements cost. And, even from the standpoint of, um, if you're going to have online properties, you're going to have hosting costs, you're going to have, again, autoresponder costs, you're going to have platforms that you need, if you need a membership platform, or if you need all of these different elements and everything, that there are costs associated with these things. Now, again, one of the things that I do with my clients is we have turnkey programs and done for you packages that we don't even have to trouble them with, the this cost and that cost and this expense and that expense and everything. It's like we take a look at what needs to be done, and we create a done for you package that does it all for them and sets all of these things up, has it all functional, turnkey, ready to go, so that they just simply show up and do what they do best. But along that with that process, there has to be an understanding that, you have to make a commitment. This is a serious, this is a business, and any business requires commitment, investment, whether it's financial investment or an investment of time and resources and all of those types of things. And most people understand it. It's just, it isn't that I have this conversation with somebody and they suddenly have this, huge awakening going, oh, I just never realized that. Most people realize it, but the problem is that they get so tied up in the overwhelm of what comes at them online with the, ads that promise, do very little and you're going to be making millions, and this is easy and this doesn't require any effort and all of this kind of stuff and everything. But if you take time to just take a deep breath and step back with somebody and have the conversation that, there's the marketing hype, and then there's the reality. And the reality is that, all of the people who have made the hundreds of thousands and the millions of dollars online have made investments, have coaches, have spent a lot of time working very hard to get to the point that they can now say that they can enjoy the fruits of their labor and they can enjoy the lifestyle and the dream and that type of thing. And that's, a lot of times the place that the marketing focuses on is the results of what that hard work has brought to the particular individual or company, but you have to take a look at what it takes to get there. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a scary thing. If it's structured right, it is, just a dream. It is so much fun. It, makes you want to get up, and when your feet hit the ground every morning, you want to jump on this and just get into doing your work and running your business, because as long as it's structured properly, it doesn't become like a 9 to 5 job that you dread to go to. It is something that you are just totally excited about doing every day, because you're fulfilling your purpose and you're bringing your gifts to the world. And that's how the business should be structured.
Sure. So the kind of done for you package, is that a monthly fee that you push to your clients, or?
Not typically. It's a package that everything is created. If they want to continue monthly, I have those options. It just really, everything that I do is totally custom, so that when I'm working with somebody, we take a look at where they're starting. We take a look at how much time they have to invest, how soon they want to see results, what type of a budget that they have, and most important of all, what their skills and their driving purpose is, and what it is that makes them tick. And on that basis, we com- compile a plan, and we come up with a game plan so that all of those things are met. One person might be working a job and only have 10 hours a week to put to their business. Somebody else may be unemployed and starting a business from scratch and have 50 or 60 hours a week to spend with, no family obligations, no children, and they want to devote every waking hour to, working on their new business. You might have another entrepreneur that already has a 6-figure business and is looking for ways to take their 6-figure business to 7 figures. So in each of those scenarios, you can't fit those people into a box and say, okay, well, I have this coaching package that I'm going to convince you that this package is right for you, because all of their situations are totally unique and totally different. So as a result, everything that I do is custom and takes a look at all of the unique features of that individual and makes sure that we come up with a plan that fits exactly that purpose.
I think our listeners would be interested to know what elements are within that plan, Stephanie.
Well, basically, for anything that somebody is doing online, the most important element is to build a community. And, the community in the online world typically revolves around a list and social media following. So, those are components of pretty much any plan. And from where it goes from there, depending on what the person wants to accomplish, and what they come to the table with in terms of, what I refer to as assets, which are basically, do you have products? Do you have a service? Do you have, 100 ebooks that you've written, or do you have one report that you've written, or do you have modules and courses, or are we starting from scratch and you have none of these things? Um, but basically in any business, you have to have something to sell and somebody to sell it to. So those are really the components of every plan.
Sure. So, have you got any top tips for growing your list, for instance?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, today, it's I actually take my clients through a 14-step um, exploration of different ways to drive traffic and to grow their list. And the biggest tip that I will pass on to your listeners is, whatever means that you do it with authenticity and integrity, because if you don't, people will see through it. And you're here to build a community of like-minded followers. So if your passion is uh, gems and crystals, don't turn around and decide that, you suddenly want to sell plants because you heard that's a hot niche to be in, and, selling um plants online is going to be what's going to make you millions. Because if you don't have a passion for that, and your heart really lies with gems and minerals, and you're out there trying to sell some other widget, it's going to show through. People are going to pick up on it. And so, you can make money doing anything online. Why not make money doing the thing that you are the most passionate about and that you can really articulate and speak comfortably on, so that you don't have to turn yourself into something that you're not? Because your viewers, readers, subscribers, your list will pick up on that in a minute, and you'll never develop that know, like, and trust factor if that's the way that you approach it and you make it about the almighty buck as opposed to what's really within your heart.
Let's have a think about that list, Stephanie. So do you put goals together? Like you need to grow a list by 10%, or you want so many thousand, 100? Is that what you do with your clients?
Typically, what we do is we take a look at a 3 or 6 month period, and based on, again, working the equation backwards from what they want to be making per month, what that list typically can make them, and how much time and resources they have into building it. And we break it down, after the 3 to 6 month goal, we break it down to what that works out to weekly. So, for one person, it might be I'm going to add 100 people to my list weekly. Somebody else, it might be I'm going to add 500 weekly. And then we construct the plans that will allow them to do that, and will give them an opportunity to be able to um, meet those goals based on specific metrics that we know that if you do this amount of times, you're going to put this many people on your list. So we come up with the plan to essentially rinse and repeat and make that happen, so that as they are implementing these things, they can track measurable results. It's something tangible that they are able to say, okay, I'm meeting my goals, I'm exceeding my goals. This week I fell short. I've got to do a little bit more in this area, and everything. So it's a very strategic plan that's based on, again, all of their factors. Somebody who has, again, a smaller amount of time may not be able to build their list as rapidly if, in combination with a small amount of time, they don't have a lot of resources and a lot of capital to put into list building. We look at free methods of building a list, and we look at paid methods. And, if you throw money at it, you can build a list in a heartbeat overnight. If haven't won the lottery and you have to do a combination of paid and free, or you have to do all free, there's trade-offs to that. If you do all free, it may take a little bit longer, but you don't have to come out of pocket with as much money. So we come up with the balance that works the best, and we set measurable, tangible goals, that are usually weekly goals, so that, if I say we're going to get to you to 10,000 subscribers in 6 months, that sounds like such a huge, insurmountable number. But if we say the goal is that we're going to add 100 people a week to your list, then suddenly it becomes a much more manageable number psychologically.
That's the way to eat elephant, isn't it? One bite at a time, yeah?
Absolutely.
So in terms of that quantity, how do you feel about that balance, Stephanie? Quantity over quality.
In terms of with the
Well,
list or with life?
list so well, I guess it's everything, isn't it? But now I'm blushing now.
The lines
So
are blurred.
I'm thinking more so social media, if I'm honest, because a lot of people are trying to buy followers, and they want followers and followers on Twitter. But what's the point in having loads of followers if they haven't got much quality behind it? Do you get it?
Well, it depends on how big your ego is. Um,
Okay. Oh no,
because
not again.
literally, in all seriousness, there's a lot of people that want that ego boost, and you'll see a lot of people online, especially in social media circles, that have huge, huge follower numbers, and you do often suspect that maybe some of those weren't organically obtained, to say the
Mm.
least.
Yeah.
They probably at some point along the line, did pad it with buying some of the followers and things like that. But what you see is that they have very low engagement. And, is it just about the numbers, or is it about the actual engagement of the people that you're making a difference in their lives? And I will take quality over quantity any day of the week, because I'm only one person, and I cannot, adequately reach out and touch millions and millions of people in the same fashion that I can touch people who step up and reply and comment and engage with posts and things like that. That you know, we're building a know, like, and trust situation where people are reaching out to me and people know that they're not just a number on my list and they're not just a number in my community, that I actually care about them and I want to see them succeed and I want to give them the resources and the accountability to succeed. And the only way that we can do that when you're building huge lists is to get that engagement up and get the interaction. So it really, all starts with the communication, having a bunch of people who, there's nothing wrong with lurkers because they, absorb and, many people just don't feel that they necessarily want to engage publicly on social media, but they could be hanging on to my every word.
Yeah, yeah.
But aside from those situations, it's the people that are actively engaged, the quality side of things, is really how, we would determine quality in, that aspect. Those are the people that are stepping forward and stepping up and into the opportunity to be able to make a difference and to engage with me and understand that there is somebody on the other end of that computer screen that cares a whole lot about them and doesn't view them as just another number.
We're talking about your clients there, but can I just talk about you for a second, Stephanie? So, what was your like aha moment where you thought this is what I want to do in life? What was your passion before this, or has it always been this?
Well, I've pretty much been in the technology field. I don't know, since the dawn of time, the dinosaurs. I don't know. But there's a bit of a longer story around it. But the long and the short of it is that my mother got MS when I was in my early years of college, and I saw her job at a prestigious law firm dissolved because they looked at her as damaged goods. And they booted her out on the street, literally. And even to kind of mitigate their damage and everything, they made a big ordeal about going to city council so that now that she didn't have a job to go to all the time and she was homebound, that she had a handicap sign that they got city council to put up on the corner of where she lived so that she had an easy place to park to get in and out of her house quickly. And what that huge wake up call for me in the middle of college and living and pursuing that American dream of, doing better than your parents and getting the degree and going and working for the man and having a 9 to 5 job that you would retire and get the gold watch. Very suddenly, what I saw is my mother was phased out, and instead of a gold watch, she got a handicap sign. And I went on to finish college and got that degree, but I only had 2 jobs out of college before I became an entrepreneur, and I've been working for myself ever since.
Thanks for sharing that, Stephanie. I mean, the reason I ask is because there's quite often a catalyst, and I know there's listeners now listening to this that want to start something, and they might be working for the man and wondering when the time's right, and is it their time? But it could be their time.
All they have to do is believe in the fact that have been given gifts and they have a purpose in the world and on this earth. And if they don't feel that that purpose is yet to be fully realized, that's probably the time to start looking at making that transition and start exploring what gifts you have and what you've been sent here to do and whether or not you feel like you're living up to that. And more, as I work with clients who, are heading out of their 30s into their 40s and well past their 50s, more and more people are feeling unfulfilled in that, and they are seeking that thing that allows them to really have the platform to make the difference that they know that they've been given gifts, and there's people out there that still need to be touched by the gifts that they've been given and they haven't yet been able to do that. And that is truly my passion at what I do, is taking those people that are making those realizations and helping them build the tangible businesses around those things that allow that to come true.
Brilliant. That's excellent. I mean, that's why you're here. That's why I'm here. That's why the show's here. And that's why people are listening, because they believe that. And I'm sure Their time will come. So, to help their time come, Stephanie, I know before we leave, you might want to offer our listeners something to help them along.
Yes, I absolutely. One of the things that I love the most is to talk to people and take them through a business planning session, take them through a life strategy session to really take a look at what it is that they feel that either they're currently doing or they have a dream that they don't know how to do, they haven't put it into motion. Any of those scenarios, I love to just jump on the phone or jump on Skype with somebody and take a look at where they are, where they want to go, and give them an idea of what they can do to bridge that gap and get them there. And I would like to offer that to your listeners. We're going to make a link available at stephaniesuggests.com/industry angel. And we'll make that available to them. And anyone who goes to that link and signs up, I will be more than happy to jump on the phone and make it happen.
Excellent. Thanks for that. Have you got any maybe a PDF or anything you could?
Yes, absolutely. I have, and tied in with that same location, I've got a book and a guide that I teach people more about the list building aspects that we discussed, and it's called Soul Inspired Signups. And it's basically how to build a list with integrity and authenticity without selling your soul. So I think that's something that would be a real benefit to your listeners, and we'll make that available to them at that same link.
Good stuff. Well, Stephanie, thanks very much for your time. It's been brilliant talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful.
Brilliant. And have a great day. I know it's the morning for you now. You're about 5 hours behind us. So have a great day.
I am. And thank you. You too as well.
That was Stephanie Mulac. It was great to get an email from Stephanie. She wanted to speak to you all and share her thoughts. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know. What a lifestyle, eh? Driving your luxury RV across the state. You know, I imagine just rocking up to a side of a lake, beneath the mountains, breathing in that fresh air. I think our friends across the pond call that wild camping boondocking in an RV, boondocking. Let me know if you're an RV adventurer and I've got that right. Well, that's great. She's open to a Skype call, which is good, and her offer of a free ebook. We'll sort it out for you on the show notes. And I'll just remind you of one of her last tips. By whatever means that you do it with authenticity and integrity. Love that. Until next time, I'm Ian Farrer. This is the Industry Angel, and thanks for listening.